Hello, chess fans. Welcome to another episode of Chess Chat. I am your host, George Marajanian, Program Director of the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. This club, the second oldest chess club in Massachusetts, meets every Wednesday evening in rooms 142 and 143 of the McKay Complex at the university. And with me for this episode of Chess Chat is our award-winning director, Darren Dame of Fitchburg, recipient of FATV's prestigious Boulder Award in 2009. Assisting him on camera and also in the control room is longtime Wachusett Chess Club member Brian Bigelow. And sitting across from me is my colleague, trusty host, co-host, chess author, chess photographer, very active tournament player, Dave Couture of Westminster. Hi, Dave.
Hello, George.
Good seeing you again, as I always do.
Yeah.
And Dave, we have an exclusive program of Chess Chat this time.
Yes, we do.
Because we have the honor, the privilege of having our U.S. Women's Champion, our own Carissa Yip, who won the Wachusett Chess Club Championship in 2014 when she was only 10 years old. She is with us live via Zoom for this episode of Chess Chat. And we're going to say hello to Carissa. There she is on our screen.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Carissa.
Hi, Carissa.
We want to congratulate you, Carissa, on winning this year's U.S. Women's Championship. You did it, you're a two-time. Now you're a two-time Women's champion because last year you weren't able to play. I think Stanford didn't give you time off to play, but you won it the previous year, 2021, right? Right.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, last year I wasn't able to play because it was just my first year in college.
Yes, right.
I didn't really want to miss any of it.
Yes, right. So, again, we congratulate you heartily. We're very proud of your accomplishment, and you did well. I mean, and we're going to actually do a very brief interview with you before we actually present one of your games, your exciting games from the Women's Championship. Mm-hmm. Dave, you have any questions for Carissa? As far as okay, here's a question: when did you start learning chess? At what age? I mean,
yeah. So I started learning chess when I think I was around 6, and then I played my first tournament at 7. But yeah, when I was 6, I wanted to join like my school chess club, but they had to. But you had to know how like the pieces moved and everything first, and I wasn't really sure of how to do that. And so my dad ended up teaching himself chess first, and then he taught me, and then I started playing in my school chess club, and I really liked it a lot. And I always wanted to play my dad, but he was getting really sick of playing me, so one day he just took me out to a local tournament, and it's a whole story.
And I think that the tournament you played in, your first tournament, was at the Metro West Chess Club in Natick, was it not? When you were 7 years old? Because that is when you joined the U.S. Chess Federation when you were 7, and that was your first tournament. And then a couple of months later, you came to Fitchburg and played at the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University and started playing there in 2000. When you were 7 years old, right? 2000 was it 2010?
That sounds right. Yeah, 2010.
Well, I remember you would often read a book in between moves.
Yes, in between moves.
And I felt like, come on, show that you're putting some effort into this when you're beating me,
you know? I don't remember doing that, but it really sounds like me. Like, I remember when I was younger, I was so into reading like these little like chapter books and stuff, and I'll be like, in the middle of the game when I'm like waiting for my opponent to move, what else is there to do?
Wow, you remember that, Dave?
Yes.
Now, you played at several chess clubs in Massachusetts. Besides Wachusett, you played at the Boylston Chess Club, the oldest chess club in the state, and you won the club championship there in 2016, 2 years after you were club champion in Fitchburg. You remember that club championship you won in 2016 at the Boylston Chess Club in Boston?
Yeah, I remember that tournament. I think I played the club championship already, maybe like one or two times before.
Before, okay.
But yeah, in 2016, I was finally strong enough to win. So that was big.
Okay, and you have set many records. They're national records. You became the youngest female player to become an expert. Then you became the youngest female to become a master, right? And you also became the youngest female to become an international master. Right. So you hold those records. Has anybody actually broken those records? Are you aware of any?
Yes, I think so. I think Alice Lee has broken them.
Okay, Alice Lee.
Most, if not all, yeah.
Yeah.
Now is Alice is she now an international master? She was a FIDE master for a time.
Yeah, she is.
I think she's
14 now.
Okay.
And she's what, 14 years old? I think.
How old is she? Yeah, she's young. Right, exactly. Now you won this year's U.S. Women's Championship. It was a field of 12 players. You played 11 games, and you were undefeated. You actually
no.
I'm sorry. No. That's I take that back.
Spoiler alert.
You were undefeated. Right through to the end, to the last round. You were undefeated.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So what happened actually? What happened in the last round? That was a very thrilling, exciting, or actually nail-biting. That was a nail-biting last round.
So you were ahead by half a point going into the last round, right?
You were leading. You were leading the tournament going in the last round.
Yeah, I can walk you guys through the whole story. So going to the last round, half a point ahead. It was really interesting because the round before, I was half a point behind.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
right.
But Irina Crush managed to beat Begum, who was like my sole competitor at that point.
Yeah.
And so I leapfrogged her. I was half a point ahead. And it was interesting because Begum and I were playing like two of the players in the tournament who I felt were not performing at their best. And Ruyan was also lowest rated. And we both had the white pieces. So I had this thought, like, if I have a draw, like I'll clinch at least a tiebreak, like a playoff situation. But if I win, I could just sort of win the title outright.
Right.
And so I also thought that Begum was going to win. And so I kind of felt that, okay, if I draw, it's like almost guaranteed tiebreak.
Right.
And so I really wanted to win. And that's sort of my mentality going into the last round. You know, I was playing someone around like 170 points lower than me. I had the white pieces. But yeah, Ruyan is like a very good player, and I don't think her rating really like accurately reflects her strength. But it was she surprised me like right out of the opening, and I sort of psyched myself out of it, and I was spending a lot of time early on in the game, and so I kind of got into like a bit of time pressure, and definitely just like at some point I couldn't find a way to get any sort of like real advantage. I felt that she was playing very solidly, but we went into like this drawn work-in game, very equal, but I felt that maybe I could press, and so that was sort of what I was trying to do. And then, you know, time trouble hits again. I was spending a ton of time, and I just it just blundered something totally crazy. It was a little ridiculous what I blundered, but yeah, so I ended up losing that game because, I pushed too hard, wanted to win, missed something, ended up losing, and so I kind of head back to my room. I'm just really bummed out that I lost. There was like a time delay on the broadcast, actually like 30 minutes, so I go back to my room. My dad thought I drew. I was like, I lost, Dad.
Okay.
And he was also getting bummed out. So we're just there, not super happy.
To say the least.
Yes. And, he was like, okay, well, let's go out for dinner. And I was like, okay. So we're like, about to head out. And my phone rings. I'm like, I'm not in the mood for a spam call. I can't do it. Decline. They call again. And I was like, what is happening? Why do they keep calling? Again, decline. And then my Facebook just starts coming in with messages from, like, people on the commentary team, like Sabina Forzer and Leonard Utz, who is, like, the photographer there, and they're like, you have to come back to the club because we think that Jennifer is going to win, and so you're going to be like the next U.S. Women's Champion.
Jennifer Yu, right? Yeah.
Yes, and I was like, wait, what? Because again, there's like a 30-minute delay, so the game to me seemed like, you know, kind of topsy-turvy, but I thought that Begum was doing okay. But yeah, so they sent some people over to like the hotel where we were staying to pick me up, and like we headed back to the club. Jennifer officially won on our way back. So yeah, it was super fun. I went into the studio and I was just still so shell-shocked about everything that happened. It was a crazy end game.
Okay, you know, before we present one of your exciting games from the tournament, we have some photos that were taken at the tournament, and our director Darren Dame actually has a photo of you with the U.S. Champion. They don't call it the men's championship; it is the U.S. Championship, but there's also a concurrent U.S. Women's Championship played in, and we're going to show that photo. And can you see actually now yourself in this photo with you're standing next to the U.S. champion this year, who is actually a three-time champion, Fabiano Caruana, Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana. You're standing. Do you see that photo of yourself or not?
Yes, I do. It's
and who is the man on the far right and the woman on the far left? You see actually.
Yeah. So from the woman on the far left is Jeannie Singlefield, and the man on the far right is Rex Singlefield, and they're like, they kind of like start the St. Louis Chess Club.
Okay.
Which is where the championships are hosted. So
they founded the St. Louis Chess Club, the Chess Center, Chess Center Scholastic Center, St. Louis. I think it goes back to 2007 or 2008 when that club was founded.
I think 2000.
Yeah, and actually he is a businessman and investor. He's a multi-millionaire. Let's put it this way. I
think he's a billionaire, actually.
A multi-billionaire.
Oh, Brian's giving us the signal to move along.
Okay. Then let's go to two more photos, Chris, before we get into the game. The next photo is when you came back, actually, after the last round, when you lost the game. No, I'm sorry.
No,
Here is the opponent. Here is the opponent you played in round 7. You see the photo of Talia Cervantes Landero. Talia Cervantes, you see her. And this is your opponent in round 7. She's originally from Cuba. She came to this country actually when she was 11 years old, I believe. And let's show actually another photo. We might as well. Let's show the photo when you came back after you finished.
No, this is right after she finished her game in the last round.
We want to show. After she finished her game in the last round, she went and watched the game. You watched actually the game's game, right? Is this the game? The game you watched?
Yeah. I do not look happy.
You didn't look happy because you thought actually you had thrown away this year's U.S. Championship by losing the last round. But lo and behold, you did. You became champion. Okay.
Did you buy Jennifer dinner, by the way?
Yeah. Right.
Oh man, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the game you played in round 7. And you picked this game. You picked that up was another game you considered, but we picked actually the game you played against Talia Cervantes, and you had white in this game in round 7. What was your first move? And Dave's going to play it.
E4.
You played E4, right? And you see we have it on our screen here, E4, and Talia responded with C5. Okay. What is this, Dave? You know what this is.
We Sicilian.
Sicilian defense, a very popular defense against E4. How did you continue, Carissa? You played?
Yeah, so knight F3.
Yep, developed the knight to F3. Okay. And Talia responded with the pawn to D6. Let's see her move, D6 on the board. Okay. All right, your third move coming.
Had you prepared for her to play the Sicilian?
What were you expecting?
Yeah, so she always, and we've faced off like a bunch of different times. For some reason, I'm always white in like our matchups, but we're always in like some sort of knight or theory. So this was all expected so far.
Right. Okay. So her third move, D4.
D4 was played by you. Okay. And Talia's responding with the capture.
Yep.
C takes D4.
Yep.
Okay, this is all standard. This has been played millions of times
Yep.
around the world. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So what did you do now?
Knight takes.
Knight takes on D4.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Here is where Talia now plays the knight to F6, attacks the pawn on E4, and what did Carissa do here?
She defends the pawn, develops the knight with knight to C3.
Okay. Now here is where Black has some choices here. What are some good moves here for Black, Carissa, in this position? What could Talia let's not indicate what she played, but let's actually indicate what she didn't play, what she could have played in response to your move.
So she could have played A6, which again is what I was expecting. And this is the Najdorf line of the Sicilian. Super sharp, super theoretical.
Yeah.
Bobby Fischer liked it. Bobby Fischer liked playing the Najdorf variation of the Sicilian. What else is possible here besides A6? Could she?
There are a whole bunch of moves. Like you could play Knight C6. You go into like a classical Sicilian.
Yeah, that's good too. Yep. How about G6? Is G6 a possible? Is that a possibility?
G6 is also a possibility.
Yeah. But Talia chose none of those, but she chose actually a move which I don't know how popular this is.
I don't know. It seems weird.
But she played bishop to D7. Did she not? Do you know actually what is this? What is this variation? Does it have a name?
So I don't think it has a name, but
it's unusual because she's going to play the A6 pawn. Usually the bishop goes to B7.
Well, this actually does have a name.
Okay.
In some quarters, this is known as the Kuprechik. Do you ever heard of the Grandmaster Viktor Kuprechik? He was a Belarusian grandmaster who died about 6.5 years ago. But he popularized this back in the 1980s and 90s. So, but it's not commonly seen, is it not? This is not as popular as A6 or Knight C6. So, what did you do when you saw? Was this a surprise to see Bishop D7?
Yeah. So the thing is, Bishop D7 is a super rare move, and I don't think it's supposed to be very good either. But I definitely think it's probably of all of like the sort of surprises or novelties in a Sicilian setup like this. I think Bishop D7 might be feel one of the worst ones because it's tricky. It's tricky if you don't quite know like how to play. Like it gets your opponent out of theory.
Right.
Is the point. But I didn't think it was like a very good choice for this game because she had played Bishop D7 already in round one. So of course it was something that I looked at briefly.
Oh really?
I didn't expect her to repeat it because again it's not a great move in this in this position.
Right.
Even something like H6 I think is like a better move here.
All right. Yeah, this is actually Bishop D7 is considered passive. It's actually it's a passive continuation.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that bishop plans to go.
So what did you do? Actually, after Bishop D7 by Talia, how did you respond? What did you play?
So I played F3.
Okay.
And so the whole point, like I said, I briefly took a look at this setup, and it's just not good because if white goes into a typical sort of English attack structure with F3, Bishop E3, that sort of setup, then black is doing really not doing so well because in those sorts of structures, black really wants to play E5 to get like the hold in the center and then bring the bishop to E6 to activate it, right?
Okay.
And so this bishop on D7 is super misplaced.
Yeah. All right. So after you played F3, Talia played on her sixth move, Knight C6, which she could have actually played on move 5, the previous move. Okay. What did you do now, Carissa, now on move 6?
Bishop E3.
7? Bishop E3. Very good move. Excellent move. Okay.
So she's getting ready to castle queenside.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Now, Talia, here's where Talia responded with A6. Yeah. So, which she could have, again, played earlier.
Now she plays the standard Najdorf move.
Right, exactly. But Bishop D7
is sort of on the wrong square.
On the square, yeah, right. Okay. It's your move now, Carissa. It's your move number 8. What did you do?
Yeah, so after I saw A6, I was feeling good about my position because she just transposed it into a bad knight move, right? So I just played G4, to get my attack started.
Okay.
Did you think for long about this, or was that a pretty quick decision?
It took a while because I started debating between like Queen D2 immediately and then castling.
Yeah.
But I think I made the right choice because I felt G4 is already like aggressive. It's trying to punish Black.
Yeah.
For like some mistakes that they've already made, and so yeah, I felt pleased with this move.
Okay. Now here's what Talia played after Carissa's bishop or G4. That is, she played knight takes D4. That was her move. Okay. What did you do? How did you recapture?
So I took with the queen.
Queen takes D4. Move 9.
Yep.
Okay, it's Talia's move now. How does she continue? Well, Talia continued by playing this bishop now to C6. It's on C6 now.
Right.
So
took her 2 moves to get to that diagonal instead of 1.
Right, exactly. All right, it's Carissa's now 10th move. What's she doing here?
She castled.
Castled.
Right. All right. So you already have now. You've castled. You've got pieces developed, and all the Talia has is 2 pieces developed. So she's behind. All right. So here's where Talia now plays B5, advances the pawn to B5. Okay. Does she not?
Yeah.
That's her 10th move. It's Carissa's move. What does Carissa do on move 11? Okay.
Charges ahead.
Advance. Okay.
G5.
So so you would to advance the pawn to G5. Do you not?
Yes.
Attacking the knight. Knight has to move. It's under attack. So, where is the? There's only 3 squares where it can go. It could go back where it came from, the G8.
Yep.
It could go maybe the D7, or it could it go to H5?
Yep.
Where does actually Talia go with that? Well, she goes D7, knight D7. She brings it back. She's certainly not going to bring it back to G8, where she came from. That's complete undevelopment. Okay, it's your move, Carissa. Move 12. What did you do?
Yeah, so I played King G1, just like a natural waiting move. I think improving move too.
Yeah, and this is common when on queenside castling to play the king to B1.
But I don't understand why. Why?
Why do you have to wait? No. Actually, it's so, as Carissa points out, it's a waiting move. Let's see actually what Black does. Yeah. So, and you know what Talia did? She played now E6, the pawn to E6.
Right.
So she's got to actually make room for pieces to come out.
Right.
All right. So what did you do now, Carissa? It's your 13th. Is it your 13th move? Yes.
Yep.
What did you do?
So I played F4 with this whole idea of like, now that we have a hook on E6, we can try to get at it.
All right. Okay, that sounds good. All right, here is where Talia now plays Queen to A5. Queen now finally comes out, queen side. That's where her play is going to be. In the defense, it's double-edged. It's so double-edged.
Right. Opposite side,
opposite side
usually.
Attacking.
Castle.
Yep, castling. All right. Chris, it's your move. Move 14. What did you do here?
So I played Bishop H3.
Okay, puts pressure on the pawn on E6, but also connects. Now the rooks are connected, right? All right, it's Talia's move. She now advances the pawn to B4 and attacks the knight. Okay, knight under attack. The knight can't stay there. The knight has to move. And this move is I like this move. I think you like this move too.
Absolutely.
I think Carissa loved this move too. What did you play, Carissa, in this position? Did you retreat the knight? What did you do?
I played knight D5, so it's like a very typical sacrifice in the Sicilian.
Wow.
Super thematic because
I did not know that.
It opens up Black's king, right? So if Black takes on D5,
right.
If Black takes the piece, we take back.
Yep.
And then, we give a check on E4, or we play like Rook E1. And Black's position is just like blown wide open.
Yeah. So this is good. Opening up the E file like that. That would be very good. All right, so we're in this position. So you play. Are we in this position now?
I still don't know if players like at our level would do that though.
Very timid players would play knight e2.
Well, I don't think that would even occur to me, to be honest.
You would never consider knight e5?
I don't think so.
No. But Chris understands tactics, or this position calls.
Yeah, she's pretty good at tactics.
She's very excellent at tactics. Okay, so you played knight d5, and Talia must have, I don't know how much time Talia spent thinking about her response, but she rejected the sacrifice. She did not accept the sacrifice. Right. Instead, she played her knight to c5. So she has the knight to c5. That's what she played on her 15th move. Yep. It is now, all right, what is Carissa doing now? What are you doing now, Carissa, in this position?
So I take the pawn on b4.
Yeah, knight takes b4, which you did. Okay, in response to that...
Do you think she would have been better off taking the sacrifice?
Yeah, well...
Yeah, I think objectively it's supposed to be better for black than what happened in the game, because otherwise this knight on d5 is very strong.
Yes.
But it requires like a lot of precise play to sort of make sure that black doesn't fall apart. And at this point, I remember she was already very low on time.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
And so I felt practically she wouldn't be able to find the right moves to defend.
Okay, here's what Talia did. On her 16th move, bishop takes e4, or pawn on e4. That's what she did. She could take it because the knight is protecting it. All right, so it's your move now, Carissa. What did you do here?
So I played rook e1.
Yep, absolutely. Bring it over, centralized.
Same file as
Same file, yeah, on rook HE1. Okay, all right. So Talia realizes her only play is queenside. She has to create some counterplay on the queen side, so she plays rook to b8. Now is a threat. She's threatening. She's attacking the knight twice with the rook and the queen. So Carissa now has to do something about that knight. That knight has to be defended somehow,
right? Or
could retreat. But why would need to retreat if you can defend it? What did you do, Carissa?
Right. So I played bishop d2. And I like this move because, a couple moves ago, I made the exchange of taking on b4, letting black take on e4. And usually we don't really want to give up like a center pawn for a side pawn. Right. It's really good here because white wants the e file open, right?
Right.
So with bishop d2, now we're eyeing up, we want to take on e4, and we also want like a sort of discovered attack on black's queen through the bishop.
All right. All right, so what was the last move?
So queen b5 is her 18th move.
18th move, queen b5?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so...
so breaking the pin.
Oh, breaking the pin.
Yep.
Well, we got to get out of this pin.
Right.
Talia says, I can't stay here on a5, so she moves the queen to b5.
Yep.
So she's no longer pinned, okay? So what does Carissa do now after Talia's queen b5? What did you do?
So I played bishop f1.
This is pretty nice, too.
Attacks the queen.
Putting the bishop back, attacking the queen.
Attacking the queen. So look, the queen has to move again. All right. And where did Talia move the queen? She moved
b7.
it. B7, correct. She moved it back to b7. All right. All right. It's your move, Carissa. What did you do?
I took on a6 with the knight. And I kind of already saw this when I played bishop f1 because this knight is... defending two pieces at once, right? So
it's overworked. The knight is overworked.
Common tactics. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so here is, after you did that, well, Talia recaptured knight takes a6. And, of course, by doing that, she's leaving the defense of the bishop on e4, and your move is obvious. You capture, rook takes e4. Okay. So you're a pawn, wait a minute, you're now a pawn ahead, right?
Right.
Oh, no, it's pawn. The pawns are even. I'm sorry. No, the pawns are 6 pawns versus 6. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're a pawn ahead. No, I'm sorry. You are a pawn. You've gained a pawn as a result of this.
Yep.
Okay. So now, whose move is it now? It is now black's move. So Talia says, I'm coming back. Knight to c5 to attack the rook on e4. So that rook can't stay there. What did you do with the rook?
I played rook e3.
Okay. Back there. All right, now it's Talia's move. Well, again, she plays the back square bishop for the first time and plays bishop e7. She brings it out, bishop e7. Oh, wait a minute.
Yes. Right.
Wasn't that bishop on f8 protecting the pawn on g7? Okay. Which allows you to do what, Carissa?
Yes, so I just take the pawn on g7.
Just take the pawn. Oh, look at
that.
Yeah, boy.
And you're threatening the rook on the h8, right?
Yes,
so,
black's position is very hard because, you know, if the bishop stays on f8, all the kingside pieces can't get out. So she's sort of taking a gamble here to allow queen takes g7.
Right.
But she almost had to, right?
Okay. So here is where Talia says, well, wait a minute, I gotta move here the king to d7, so this rook on b8 protects the rook on ah. Right. And of course, this queen on g7 has to stay protecting the pawn on b2 because Talia's threatening mate.
Right.
If she takes that pawn, if that queen is not protecting that pawn on b2. So what did you do after she played king d7?
I played bishop c1, just a nice safe move, you know, covering my bases.
Yeah.
And now she doesn't have to worry about the queen covering.
Yeah, she doesn't have to worry about the queen covering it. And now she can actually, she can attack on the pawn. It's a pawn attacked on f7.
Right. So now she's up 2 pawns. Black's king is stuck in the center.
Yeah, so the bishop is doing good work, defensive work, by playing back to c1.
She also opened up the d file.
Okay, so here is where Talia plays the pawn to d5, advances the pawn to d5. Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. So what did you do, Carissa, on this on your move here?
I played bishop h3.
Okay, putting more pressure. Again, the rook and the bishop are putting the pressure on the pawn on e6. Okay, here is what Talia now. This rook, which was lined up on the b file with the queen, now realizes, you know, I need to actually protect this pawn on f7. So she plays the rook over this rook on b over to f8. Protects the pawn so she doesn't lose the pawn on f7, for one thing. Okay, your move. What did you do, Carissa?
So I played queen e5. So I want to take on d5 to take advantage of the pin.
Oh, yes, right. Okay, that's a nasty threat. All right, after queen e5, Talia says, you know, I gotta get off this d file here, and she played king e8. She brought the king back to e8. This is rather painful.
Yeah,
this is very painful for black to have to retreat like this. All right, how did you continue, Carissa? It's your 27th move coming up. What did you do?
Right. So I played f5.
Oh, wow. You are piling up on that pawn. You've got the pawn f5, the queen, the rook, the bishop. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 pieces and a pawn piling up on that pawn on e6. And what Talia did after you did f5, well, she played bishop takes g5, takes the pawn on g5, attacks the rook, and what did you do in response to that? Well, you're not going to leave that. You want to save that rook on e3, so you advance it.
I played rook c3, so I was calculating, you know, like a little bit of, you know, if I took on e6 first, and I think that's also totally winning. But I just wanted to play it a little safe.
Right,
so
playing it safe.
I thought rook c3 was good.
You're playing it safe.
You have that luxury.
All right, exactly. All right, so here is where Talia plays the knight back to d7 and attacks your queen. Okay, so that queen can't stay there. So where did you move that queen that's under attack?
So move the queen to e2.
E2. Okay, good. All right. Now it is now Talia. So Talia now takes the bishop on c1. Bishop takes c1 is her move. Okay. So, and you're going to recapture, and you capture naturally with the king. You're going to keep that rook on on the d file, right?
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So, after you captured on c1 with the king, she now does well. Now she did this. She advanced her pawn to e5. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. She's still this is not a good position for her, but she's trying to recover. What did you do in response to e5 by Talia?
Yeah, so like black can sort of solidify. That's really what black wants, right? But I played rook d3, and so the idea is that black can't even play d4 or anything because of the pin on the e-file, I'll just take the pawn.
That's right.
On d4.
That's right. She cannot play d4 because you simply take the pawn. The rook takes d4 because of the pin. She can't take back.
Right.
So you're really piling up on that pawn on d5, and it's only defended by the queen. So this is like it's going to lose material here. So what did she do? She protected the pawn on e5 with f6. That's what she did, f6, and which is going to allow you to play what?
Yeah, so I can just take the pawn on d5 now.
All right. And now, now you're piling up on the knight on d7. Here is where Talia now plays the rook to f7, and now lets the rook at least help in defending that knight on d7.
Yep.
Okay, it is now your move, your 33rd move coming up. What did you do here?
I played queen h5, and now I'm threatening to take on d7.
Oh, wow. Yes,
right.
yes.
Because this rook is pinned.
That's because
right.
It's right. So that is okay. So because you have the attack there, she gets out of the pin. Because the rook is pinned, she brings the king over the f8. That's her move. All right. Now, what did you do now? How do you continue here in this position? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you could actually take. Actually, is it possible to take on the rook with the queen? That's a possibility, isn't it? I mean, it should win. I mean, it wins. But you chose.
Oh, yeah. I totally missed that.
Yeah, you had queen takes that. You could have taken there, right? Exactly.
Yes,
so,
for sure. That would have cleaned it up.
That would have cleaned it up. Yeah. But instead you chose a different route. Okay. What did you do?
I played bishop f1. So I felt my bishop on h3. Not really doing much on that day. I had no pawn in the way.
It's blocked by its pawn on f5, so it's doing nothing. That bishop on h3 is doing nothing there.
Yeah.
Okay. So here is where Talia, after you play bishop f1.
Not much Talia can do.
Well, I don't know. Talia must have realized it was hopeless. I don't know. She played queen to a7. Did she play here thinking, oh well, I'm attacking the pawn on a2, or I have no idea what she was thinking about. She realized the position is hopeless in this position.
Yeah.
Right. And how did you continue after she played queen a7? Here is where you now. Again, you can still play.
I could play queen h7.
You can still play. Yeah, right. Right. You still have that available. But instead, you played queen h6 check. You say?
Yes.
Okay. And here is where Talia, after the check, moves toward this rook, which never got developed, by the way, king g8. And now what did you do? You put more pressure on that knight, right? That knight on d7 comes under more pressure.
Well.
Yeah, so bishop c4.
Bishop c4.
Right. Bishop, I'm sorry, no. Oh, wow. This is even stronger. Oh, yeah, this is even stronger. Right. Bishop c4. Here is where Talia plays knight f8, right here. Okay, she plays knight f8, and you actually played what move here?
I played rook d8.
Right.
Pinning the knight.
Now, did Talia respond to this, or did she do something else?
Yeah, so she just resigned after rook d8,
She resigned.
I think.
Because she realized you're threatening simply to take the knight with mate because of the pin. The rook cannot take back because of the pin with the bishop. So this was actually an attacking game. Yeah. Talia, I think you pointed out, maybe it was not a wise choice of variation in the Sicilian that she chose.
I think it worked out okay for a round one, but I just feel in a tournament, especially a tournament like this one that's also like super long, you probably shouldn't repeat, opening surprises because your opponents are going to check your games.
Right. Yeah, I didn't realize she had played that earlier.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. No, exactly. So what was your impression of this year's U.S. Women's Championship? I mean, how was it different from 2 years ago when you won it 2 years ago? Were there any differences, any changes actually in in the tournament?
Yeah, so I feel 2 years ago, I think I grabbed the lead in round 6, and then I sort of hung on to it through the rest of the tournament. And so, Beck and I both had a really good start, and it was just like, I think we won quite a few games in a row. It's just like every day I would win. I'd go back to my hotel room, check Begum's game. She would win. I was just like, when will I be getting the sole lead? And so we were just like, we both had some crazy scores, like 7 out of 8. And, I ended up faltering with a draw in a very good position. So I was disappointed. Begum won. And,
that was 2 rounds before the end, right?
Yes. So it's just like, with 3 rounds to go, we really had no idea where it was going to be headed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you were in very good company in this year's Women's Championship because among the contenders were former women's champion. Right. I mean, in fact, one of them was actually Grandmaster Irina Krush, who's won this how many times? Eight, I think.
She's won 8 times.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and also that
she was the only grandmaster in the field too.
Right, she's the only one that actually has the grandmaster title, and of course that is your goal. Isn't your goal actually to become actually a grandmaster, have the title of grandmaster?
Yes.
Right now you have the title of international master. So what do you have to do to become a grandmaster? Let our viewers know, what do you have to do to gain the title of grandmaster? What is needed?
Yeah. So first I need to get 3 norms, and norms are just sort of tournament performances. They're like really good tournaments where you play against at least 3 grandmasters, I think 3 foreign players, and you need to achieve this performance rating of 2650, I believe. And if you have a tournament that satisfies all of these requirements, and it also has to be like 9 rounds or more.
Oh, okay, at least 9 rounds, okay.
Yeah, so if you achieve a tournament like this, then that's going to count as a norm. And you need 3 of these, and then you also need a rating of 2,500 FIDE.
Okay. Now, the opportunity for norms in this country are very few. They're not that there are very few norm tournaments in this country. Is there not? I mean, who actually is running norm tournaments in the United States?
Yeah, so there actually used to be a lot less. I think they're definitely proliferating. So St. Louis Chess Club and the Charlotte Chess Club used to be
those in North Carolina. The Charlotte Chess Club in North Carolina. They run norm. They have norm tournaments. Yeah, okay. And of course, Bill Goichberg, Bill Goichberg, the top organizer in the country, he runs norm tournaments, does he not? At the World Open or not?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was thinking of these sort of norm tournaments that are like round robins, but yeah, they're also open norm tournaments.
They're open norm tournaments, okay.
Right.
So are you planning to play in any future norm tournament? I mean, for example, in 2024? I mean, you have anything planned as far as 2024? As far as
so another organization that's come up is like the 1000 GM, and they're based in California, actually, and so they also run GM and IM norm round robins, and it's actually very close to Stanford, so it would be very convenient for me. But yeah, I'm hoping to play one of those in the next year or so.
Okay, so if you get 3 Grandmaster norms, they will the World Chess Federation FIDE will award you the Grandmaster title, and as long as you have the rating requirement also. Yeah. There's a rating requirement also.
Right.
Okay. Well, we're going to wish you the best in acquiring those norms, Carissa, in the coming years. And we expect you to be a grandmaster. We want you to become a grandmaster. So we're very proud of you. Again, your beginnings here at the Wachusett Chess Club in Fitchburg, we're very proud of you.
Yeah.
And we thank you for sharing your thoughts about this year's U.S. Women's Championship with us. And we wish you well in all your future tournaments. Again.
Thank you, guys. I can't even express how much I appreciate, the Wachusett Chess Club. I remember when I was younger, I just had no idea how chess really worked. I'd always be losing. But I remember at the chess club, it was my favorite club to play in, too. every time after my game, my opponents would always be willing to analyze me, to go over my mistakes, and I think that was like a big part of how I grew as a chess player when I was younger.
Okay, well, we thank you for the compliments.
Yeah, thank you.
We thank you very much. And again, we bid you a fond adieu, and we hope to see you do well in future tournaments. Thank you again, Carissa, for joining us for this episode
thank you,
of Chess
guys.
Chat.
See ya.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
now. See you, Carissa. Well, Dave, there we have one of our shining lights in chess, who actually has become a celebrity, a national celebrity, and she is known worldwide. There are the top players in the world know who Carissa Yip, who had her beginnings right here in Fitchburg at the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. And again, we thank Fitchburg State University, who has been our host now. It's actually going to close to almost 20 years.
Is it really?
It's getting close to 20 years. And again, we thank them. And again, we couldn't do it without them. We couldn't do it without them. And actually, we have actually, by our presence, we have put Fitchburg on the map, on the chess map.
Yeah, that's true.
Players nationwide know about the Wachusett Chess Club. Yeah. They also know that actually we hosted 2 world champions here.
Right.
One before he became world champion, that was Bobby Fischer.
Sure. Yep.
March 2nd, 1964, right before his 21st birthday. He came here to Fitchburg.
And then we should say that's mentioned in the book, Bobby Fischer on the Road.
Yes.
And then your name is mentioned specifically in the book. Yeah, you are mentioned, George.
Okay, well, again, there was a book written about the Bobby Fischer's National Chess Tour in 1964. He didn't play in any tournaments, Fischer did, in 19... He chose to spend the first part of 1964 playing in exhibitions nationwide.
Across the country,
And he came to Fitchburg when the club, we were meeting at that time, the Wachusett Chess Club was meeting at the First Parish Church Unitarian at the Upper Common in Fitchburg. And Fischer played. The contract that he actually signed with our chess founder of the club, Rocco Pasquale, was for 50 players. And that was easily met, 50 players. When he showed up on the day of the tournament, it was a Monday night, the president of the club, Rocco Pasquale, said, Bobby, we've got 6 players who really want to play you. They really want. Can we squeeze them in? And again, you know what the board fee was? You know what it cost a player back in 1964 to play Bobby Fischer in the exhibition?
I don't.
$5. $5. Okay, now world champions require like over $100, $150.
Yeah. Even back then, that was pretty cheap, right?
Anyways, so Rocco said, look, I have $30 extra if you're willing to take 6 more places. And Fischer, who has actually said, no, you keep the money. He could have actually taken the additional 30.
Sure.
He was guaranteed $250, and he actually turned down an additional $30 and said, hey, let the club enjoy the $30. I'm happy with the 50 players I'm playing, and I'll play the additional 6 players.
Yeah, he truly never seemed to care that much about money for himself, right?
He never cared about money. In fact, here is a player who could have made millions on endorsements.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
After he won the world championship in 1972 against Boris Spassky of Russia, he could have made millions. No. There were companies. He could have been on the box of Wheaties.
Sure. Yeah.
And he could have been endorsed by all kinds of companies, but he turned it down.
And I think one of the issues was he said if he didn't actually use something and like something, he wasn't going to endorse it.
No, he wasn't going to do it. So again, Fischer was here. Again, he became world champion 8 years later, after 1972, and then a player who came to Fitchburg, who was a world champion previously, was Grandmaster Tigran Petrosyan of Armenia, who actually spent most of his time in Moscow after he left Armenia. But he appeared at the Wachusett Chess Club when the club was meeting at the St. Joseph Club in Clegon, on Oak Hill Road in Clegon. And he played about 30 players, and that got extensive coverage in the Fitchburg, the Sentinel and Enterprise. Yeah. By the way, when Fischer was here in '64, there was an international master by the name of John Donaldson who wrote a book, again, about Fisher's tour.
Right, yeah.
And he said, of all the Fisher's simultaneous exhibitions he did, the best coverage, the best newspaper coverage of a simul was done by the Fitchburg Sentinel. The Fitchburg Sentinel outdid all other newspapers in covering Fisher's exhibition in Fitchburg.
Nice.
So I'm very, very, very happy to hear that Jonathan actually praises the local newspaper back when Fisher appeared here. Okay, I think we should let our viewers, while we have time left, indicate who our new club champion. We just conducted a club championship that actually finished less than a month ago at Fitchburg State University. And our repeat club champion is Raymond Paulson, who lives in Lowell, and actually could play in a club closer to him in Billerica, which he does, by the way.
Which he does, yeah.
He plays in the Billerica Chess Club, but he loves coming to Fitchburg. He will make the trip from Lowell, and he just won the club championship clear.
Yeah, second time, right?
Second time, yeah, right. And he also shared the title with Roger Capallo. 1 year, they shared the title. But I want to point out, actually, who finished second, clear second in this year's club championship. And this is a player who's following in the footsteps of Carissa Yip.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a Chinese-American boy. I mean, Carissa is a Chinese-American. Yeah, she's Chinese. No, Carissa was born here.
Born in Boston, yeah.
Yeah, right. She was born here, but actually
her dad was from
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Her father was Hong Kong. Her mother's from mainland China, but she's of Chinese ancestry.
Yep.
But we now have another youngster of Chinese ancestry who was born here, named Sean Shu, who lives in Lexington, who comes every week to the Wachusett Chess Club with his sister Laura. And Sean is 10 years old, and he actually, in this club championship, and actually, did you play him in the club championship?
I did. I lost.
You lost.
I lost to Sean. Yeah.
Okay, so but I also played. I was lucky to. In the last round, he offered me a draw.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, actually a draw. But it clinched second place for him. I had predicted that Sean was going to win this year's club championship.
He came close.
But I predict actually I think he's going to win the club championship. It might be next year, the next year after.
It could easily be next year.
It could be because Carissa did it. Remember, Carissa won the club championship when she was 10 years old in 2014.
Yeah.
Sean is now 10.
Yeah.
But I'm predicting he's going to win the club championship in a future year.
Yeah.
But again, he's a phenomenon. In fact, I mean, he understands tactics. And as you and I both know, tactics is 99% of chess. If you don't know tactics, you cannot become a good player.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And there's two styles of chess. There are tactical players, but then there are all positional players. Positional chess is difficult. Very difficult for players to understand.
Right.
Yeah. But Sean understands tactics. Now, his game will be even better if he actually gets well-versed in positional strategic planning like that. Yeah. So I'm very proud of Sean Shu at the club. Yeah. And by the way, our club is doing well. The Wachusett Chess Club is doing exceedingly well. Our attendance, our current tournament, we're running by the way, our current tournament honors the late Professor Ernest Fondryer. Ernest Fondryer was the head of the mathematics department at Fitchburg State. He was there for at least 30 years. And if it were not for Ernest Fondryer, Professor Fondryer, we would not be at Fitchburg State. Right. When Ernest Fondryer was a member of our club, and we had two other professors who became members of our club, Professor George Miller, who taught education. He taught education, and Diego Obiero, Professor Diego Obiero. So we had three professors at Fitchburg State. But it was Professor Ernest Fondryer who came to me one year and said, George, would you be opposed if I went and talked to the president of the university, which was then Robert Antonucci. Bob Antonucci was president of Fitchburg State. He said, would you be opposed if I approached him and asked him whether the university would host the second oldest chess club and one of the most the most famous chess clubs in the country. And I said, no. I said, go ahead. Yeah. At that time, we were meeting actually in Leominster. The first time we had moved to Leominster, and we were meeting at the Unitarian Church on West Street in Leominster. So I told Professor Founder, I said, no, do it if you wish to approach. I said, I don't know what the reaction will be. Right. He said, he came back the following week and says, George, you've got the green light to relocate to Fitchburg State University, which will proudly host you as one of the great chess clubs.
And free of charge.
Free of charge. And we're very fortunate. Yeah. We're very fortunate. And because of that, we're getting chess players from all over, Massachusetts, from the Boston area, from Lexington, Acton, Concord.
Southern New Hampshire.
Southern New Hampshire. Yeah. Also far south is Worcester, the Worcester area.
Well, we had someone from Springfield.
And also from Springfield. Yeah. So our club is well known. Yeah. We put ourselves on the chess map, and we're very fortunate.
Well, you're being humble because we should say you've put Fitchburg on the chess map.
Well, as I say,
pretty much single-handed.
I've stuck around to keep the club going because back when Fisher was became world champion, you know how many chess clubs there were in the state of Massachusetts? More than 30. 30
really?
Chess clubs sprinkled around the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Now I can count on one hand how many chess clubs there are. There's a club actually nationally in Boston, the Boylston Chess Club. Yeah. There's one in Worcester, the Greater Worcester Chess Club. There's one in Billerica. There's one in Newburyport, and there's one in Plainville.
Right. But they're trying to start one in Westfield too. We should mention that.
in Western Mass, right?
Yep.
Westfield, they're trying to start actually a chess club, which at one time was very, very active. Especially the Springfield Chess Club. There used to be a club in Athol. The Athol Club was also there. And there was one in Pittsfield. Yeah. But right now, the Western Mass Chess Association is trying to actually start this club in Westfield. Yeah. So chess has been around here a long time, and it goes back over 100 years as far as chess in the state. And of course, we've done programs on probably the most famous. Who is the most famous chess player born in Massachusetts? His name is known worldwide.
Pillsbury.
Harry Nelson Pillsbury. Yeah. His name. You cannot be a serious chess player unless you know the name Harry Nelson Pillsbury, who was born in Somerville, and again he did not live that long in Somerville because he left the state and made his mark actually going to New York, and then ended up actually living in Philadelphia, and he died at the age, tragically at the age of 33. But he made his mark actually by winning an international tournament in 1895 in Hastings, England. No one thought, none of these European masters, when they said, who is this American coming over? He has no chance. Right. We're the strongest players in the world. The Germans, the French, the English, the Russians. He won. He beat them all. I mean, he finished first in a very famous tournament in Hastings, England. Yeah. So he is our most famous player born in Massachusetts. Now, about a minute left that we have, tomorrow is actually November 14th. When we're doing this show, it's on the 13th. Tomorrow is the anniversary of the birth of probably the New England legend, contemporary people know the best, John Curto.
Oh, okay.
John Curto, if he had not died actually last year, would have turned 92 tomorrow. Okay. He was born 1931 in Lynn, Massachusetts, and actually he won the Massachusetts State Championship more times than anybody else.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyways, we thank everybody watching our edition of Chess Chat. We will bring you another interesting program next time on Chess Chat.